Part 82. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 813. Where to go for Huang Shishi in August. Yekong simply refined it and let Diz Hishan's Yuan Shen inhale into the night dance. If he wanted to let it play the power of the best magical tools, he could spend time refining. Now he is most important to leave here. Yekong has experienced this kind of infinite loop formation. The demon named Leng Qi had laid out this formation at the beginning. It is very simple to break this formation method. The most direct way is to kill the people who set up the formation and kill the formation leader. Everything can be eliminated. However, Yekong did not have to search for it, and the leader of the array actively found him. It was a kind of induction, as if something was calling him in that direction. He strode over. Finally, he walked into a secret room and saw the large antique bronze mirror lying flat in the secret room and the bronze face on the mirror. It really is you. Yekong had already guessed that the face on this ancient mirror was the face that broke into his dream. The face has no eyes, it is a layer of thick bronze with one finger, and the eyes, mouth, and nose are empty and transparent. He smiled, feeling weird. Of course it is me. It is ridiculous that the kid actually arranged a 9-house lock array and wanted to trap me. There is no funnier than this. The bronze face laughed. Yekong said coldly, "What the are you? Is it Xiu, or a refined instrument?" The bronze face said, "I am who I am, and I can't tell what I am. In short, I am something that can help others, and those who get me will get my selfless help, so that they get everything they want." Yekong sneered, "That's really a model of helping others." The bronze face didn't get angry because of his ridicule, but said, "Don't be so indifferent to me. In fact, we are not enemies and I haven't harmed you. Am I right? In fact, I just said the formation method still helps you. You know, at least 13 powerful gods are staring at you and that idiot. If it weren't for my circular formation method, they would have discovered the secret of Jupingzian Bao. You have Pipa beads, they won't be jealous, because they won't be able to the past, and they are all Shadow Clan elders, they have great power, and it doesn't matter if they are patriarchs. But Jupingzian Bao is not. They can use the same thing, even if they can't use it now, they can use it in the future. So if the news leaks, you can die 100 times. The bronze face was right. If Yekong had the news that Jupingzian Bao was spread, Yekong would be dead. Then you are really crooked. Yekong nodded. The bronze face thought that the 3-inch non-rotten tongue had succeeded again, and he smiled proudly. Actually, these are all my expectations. Do you know why I went to your dreams in the morning? That's because I already saw now what happened. Maybe you don't know what I am capable of. Now I tell you, my name is Wanli Reincarnation. You can see thousands of miles away, you can see past and present life, 5,000 years ago, 5,000 years later, as long as with my help, you can know the future development direction. With my ability, what can't be done? Wanli Reincarnation is bragging about himself. Although he has some special abilities, he is far less powerful than him. At the time, Emperor Qishan was tempted by him. But Yekong was not the original Emperor Qishan. He just smiled at these big words and asked only one question. Wanli Reincarnation could not answer. Yekong asked, "Did you give your soul to you like Qishan?" Yes, Wanli Reincarnation mirror answered, and felt inappropriate, and the ending like Qishan was too miserable. He busily explained, "Yekong, you can rest assured that Emperor Qishan is because of practicing the soul stealing and exterminating Dafa, you don't need to practice at all." He was afraid of Yekong's unbelief, and said, "Let us just say this without a word. I'll show you your future, and you know at a glance." The bronze face was hidden into the mirror, and Yekong's picture appeared later. I saw Yekong standing at the peak of a high mountain, wearing a wide cloak, very slick, and kneeling down on the mountain, tens of millions of people, These people are not the Shadow tribe or the Northern tribe, but immortals. There are 5 keen worshippers below, and they said one after the other with a ho. Eastern Fairy Emperor met the Lord of the Fairy and sent countless beautiful women of the Shadow and Northern ethnic groups. Then there are beautiful women coming out, all of them are beautiful and beautiful. Then another said, the Southern Imperial Emperor met with the Immortal Master and sent the top 50 jade cars. The fairy beast pulled in and drove up. 50 cars were filled with fairy jade. With these fairy jades, what they want to do in the fairy realm. Then the Western Fairy Emperor sent the top fairy beast, the Northern Fairy Emperor sent the 10-tier fairy where the Chinese Fairy Emperor gave a rare treasure. Each of these is a good thing, every one of them is drooling, and casually everything is something that people in the nether can desperately want. Yekong saw his eyes bright, and the bronze face was overjoyed. He floated out of the mirror and said, seeing it, as long as I have help, you can accomplish this great cause, get endless treasures, and become the Lord of Immortals. Don't you want it? Don't you want it? Don't you want to decide the life or death of others? Yekong's eyes showed greed and nodded, drooling. Another silly boy. Miles of Reincarnation Mirror proudly thought. He also said, to get all this is very simple. As long as you pay for your soul, you get so much and you always have to pay for it. It is very fair, not to mention, the soul is not useful to the average person. I'm interested in something you said, but what if you lied to me, Yekong said again. Feeling enthusiastic about Wanli reincarnation, he quickly said, rest assured, I won't lie to you. If you say what you want to know, I can show it to you. Yekong nodded and said, then you put Huang Shishi, I want to know where she went and what is she doing. Wanli reincarnation sensed it and found that Huang Shishi could not be sensed. However, he saw that Yekong was going to be hooked. He couldn't give up this good opportunity. He decided to expend a lot of strength and feel that Huang Shishi would show Yekong many years later. Then you wait, the old man is doing all his skills today and I want you to see it. The bronze face sank into the mirror, and it took a while before the image appeared on the mirror. I saw a huge star boat appearing with a few big characters on it, the Mozong. Then the image came to the boat, and there were countless monks, high gods, low kings, and countless ancestors, and Huang Shishi was among them. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 814. 18 for Mirror Center Demon. Someone in the boat was chatting, I still have 20 years, I hope not to encounter a powerful Kangming beast. If I persist for another 20 years and open up 1 or 2 situations, I can end the current period and go back to Yunyeo. Another said, why go back? What's so good about Yunyeo? He will cultivate in the new realm opened by the Mozong. If he does marry his wife and have children, these new realms are an independent kingdom. Maybe our pioneers can still mix titles make him a superior. Yekong couldn't help wondering when he saw this. He couldn't think that the Mozong was doing such a big thing to open up territory and land. Opening up a new realm in Kangming and becoming an independent kingdom is also due to what they want. But why did Huang Shishi go with the Mozong to do coolies? Yekong thought about it and understood that it was clear that the piece of fairy jade was given by the Mozong. This Mozong was really nothing, and a piece of fairy jade was exchanged for a 50-year-old laborer who was a consummate Yuanjun. Thinking of Huang Shishi's willingness to do 50 years of labor to save himself. Then I thought about why Huang Shishi was so proactive in the past few days and gave her body completely to herself. Yekong couldn't help getting his eyes wet, but she was just a little fake than real person. Was it really worth it for herself? Rest assured, Shishi, I will definitely find a way to save you, never let you do 50 years of hard work. Then, on the reincarnation of Miles, another scene appeared. I saw 8 gods flying out of the starboat, standing in position, propping up an unknown powerful red formation. In Kangming, at least the gods can stay, so the gods first go out to support the formation. Seeing Zhou enters the formation, the hatch opens again, and Huang Shishi and other Yuan Yingzheng appear. Their task is to clean up the space warm current and various rays and ions that can harm humans. This is a very time-consuming work. After the completion, dozens of true monarchs cooperated to perform another formation, so that a plane appeared. This plane is actually a platform with nothing on it. At this time, numerous ancestors of Jadan appeared. They sowed the soil, put down various seeds, and put down various animals. This is how a realm was born. The image flashed suddenly, and the bronze face appeared again. This time he had exhausted all his strength, and he could see that he was very tired. He said, "You see, she's quite safe, but I'm not sure of the direction, hundreds of thousands of miles away from Pipa." Yekong nodded and said, "Thank you, you can go in and rest." Wanli Reincarnation suddenly said, "No, it's not a question of my rest now. You see my strength, you can believe it? Give me your soul." Yekong shook his head, "I'm me, how can I give my soul to you? Everything I need can be obtained with both hands. Why do you have to make irresponsible remarks? I have my own thoughts, my own pursuits, how can I let others control? I already have the lesson from Dikishan. If I believe in you again, wouldn't I be stupid than him?" Wanli Reincarnation was furious, "Good boy, how dare you play me? I am so laborious. Don't you be afraid that I will spread the news that you have a 9-pin fairy." Yekong laughed, "You reminded me, killing people is a must." Wanli Xinjing was panicked and busy, "Don't do this. After all, I still have some skills. Even if you don't give your soul to me, you can take me, I can help you." "No need," Yekong snorted coldly. "You are different from ordinary treasures. You like to seduce others, intimidate and seduce, and specifically do harm to others. I look a bit like my demon. I'm afraid I'll be killed by you one day. I'll leave you alone. Let's die." Yekong took out the Black Knight dance and slashed sharply to pulverize the surface of the copper mirror. The bronze face screamed, "Yekong, you bastard, you must not die. I will come back to you one day sooner or later." The bronze human face dissipated instantly, and the simple bronze mirror banged and shattered. But there was an invisible phantom rushing out of the palace, out of the array, and floating in the Kangming before humming, "Yekong you guessed it right, I am a demon locked in the mirror, you let me out and I will thank you well." Ha 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 ha. Wanli Reincarnation mirror shattered, the array method also dissipated by itself, and Yekong returned to freedom. A few hours ago. Holy Demon Sect. Sir Lord, just now the news came from Pipa Realm, saying that a real false man named Yekong went to Pipa Mountain and fought with Emperor Kishan, a divine envoy said. What? That Yekong wasn't trapped in Ledian, why did he go to Pipa again? The Lord was a little surprised. Recently, the Holy Demon Sect has been busy eliminating the bad influence left by Qinglai Wei's Saring one by one, busy running various realms. Tu Chuzhen, who is most concerned about this matter, went in retreat to practice the 5 elements extinction, so everyone ignored Yekong, which made him easily reach the Pipa realm. I don't know, but I heard that Yekong has lifted Qinglai Wei's blood oath. You're talking nonsense, if you don't lift it, can he leave Ledian? The Lord hummed. To the heart, Tu Chuzhen really guessed, De Kishan robbed the Shadow Clan caravan, the purpose is for this Yekong. But what deep hatred is there between De Kishan and this little fake Dan real person? It's strange. At that time, the ambassador said, Sir Lord, my disciples have been mingling with the new disciples who have just come from Kangbei these days. I heard a rumor and now I want to come, I am afraid it is related to this matter. The Lord frowned. Say. Those disciples said that 3 years ago, a human monk called Yekong was mixed into the holy tribe's residential area and obtained the token of the holy king. This guy went to the Abyss Valley and pitted him again. The most strange thing is that the guy in the Foundation period managed to escape, and killed the captain of the Saint King's Guard, Leng Qi, those new disciples said. Xianxia suddenly vomited. Speak straight, the Lord slaps the table angrily. They said that the boy had given the Holy King a green hat. Nonsense. Don't kill yourself, the Lord retorted, but he thought of Lu Junro again, and then thought of Dick Kishan and Yekong. He was shocked. Not good. Rally all the horses immediately to go to Pipa to capture Yekong and kill without pardon. Yi family firm, Yi Jian practice department. At this moment it is no longer an old guy. A dozen elders of the Shadow clan have come together. These are the old guys who haven't been out of customs for 100 years, and they are brought together for one reason. That is the Pipa beads. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 815. Recognition of the Patriarch. Yi Jian was sitting cross-legged calmly, and more than a dozen shadow elders were talking in front of him. That jade demon was really killed? How unexpected is he? How could he die in the hands of a real fake Dan? What is so different about this kid? It's not that this boy is different from ordinary people, but that Emperor Kishan's mentality is not strong. When he heard a woman's name, he cried and knelt. It was a wreck. No, that Yekong could know Dick Kishan's secrets in advance and get the woman's last words. Although Yekong is not good at all, he can't do anything about it. How could the person found by Pipazu be a ubiquitous one? Yi Jian waved his hand and interrupted everyone's discourse, saying, it's useless to say those things. Now the problem is that Dick Kishan is dead. If there is no explanation for all the people, we can't justify it. An elder said, when you die, you die. Anyway, Dick Kishan inherits the position of patriarch. I did not go out of the customs. At that time, I announced that Dick Kishan was fake. Now the real patriarch is here, and the funeral can be a happy event. Yeah. The other elder shook his head. That Yekong is not even a shadow clan. How can I be my clan patriarch? My clan has never had a precedent for outsiders to be clan chiefs. The previous elder retorted, why not? It is recorded in my clan history books that when the 5 elements scattered people saved my clan asked him to be the clan chief, but he was excused. Another elder said, I still haven't done it. Besides, the 5 elements scattered people have great gratitude to the Shadow clan. What great grace does Yekong have? In fact, Yi Jian was not optimistic about Yekong, because he was low, and he was not a Shadow clan, and he avenged against Saint Mozong. So he did not want Yekong to be the patriarch. But the problem now is that Dick Kishan was actually killed by Yekong. This is a headache. When the lord of the Shadow clan is killed, there must always be an explanation for the clan. Today, only the identity of Yekong is recognized. But when they decided to support Yekong as the patriarch, another news came that the Saint Demon Squad came, and dozens of large starboats were out of the battlefield. The situation was imminent, and a catastrophe in the Pipa realm came in sight. At this moment, Yekong was standing in the square in front of the palace. It stands to reason that the Shadow clan elders are paying attention to this battle, and now they have won. There is no reason for those elders to refuse to recognize their identity. Perhaps they are still discussing. Yekong thought so. But after waiting for a while, no one appeared, and even those guards peeking out of the mountain pass were all left. Your family's ancestors are stubborn. What fame? Yekong scolded angrily and took out the Pipa beads. Due to the limitation of Dick Kishan's power just now, Pipa beads cannot be used. Now Dick Kishan is dead, and of course it can be used. When the Pipa bead was taken out, the blackened bead immediately gave out a brilliant brilliance, and the ray of light was shining on the bead body. Then, the shining bead detached itself from Yekong's hand, rising higher and higher, flying toward the jade, the upper part of the lute. Finally, Qing Yu's lute sounded. The music of the pipa is not as overbearing as that of Dikishan, but it is a touch of sorrow and a bit of loneliness, but it feels silent, very strange and ethereal, but it seems like can move the strings in people's hearts, resonate. People from all over the country listened intoxicated. This is the real jade pipa sound, yes, although I haven't heard it, but I'm sure of it, a shadow clan yelled. It's really the real jade pipa sound, I feel it, this is the true master of the shadow clan, more clan cries. Fever, then covered their faces. After waiting for many years, I finally heard the sound of the jade pipa, the real sound. Yekong looked at the sky quietly. In the sound of the lute, those sakura willows that dance like snow are dancing, like every living spirit, turning and jumping with the lute, as if today is their festival. Yekong looked at the dancing elves and gradually became addicted. In his eyes, those are no longer the tidbits of cherry willow, but the figures of the shadow clan women, showing the beautiful and moving shadow martial arts. That is the true shadow martial arts, the deep shadow martial arts, only the shadow clan masters can learn. I don't know how much time has passed, Yekong suddenly felt a sigh of depression in his chest as if he was about to get out of sleep. He raised his head, opened his mouth, and made a loud scream, unstoppable. The whistle whispered over the pipa sound, echoing in the pipa realm. The howling sounded like a giant dragon, traveling between heaven and earth, unrestrained, wanton and free, echoing between heaven and earth. In the howling, 13 personal figures fluttered down and led by the retired elders of Yi family, Yi Jian. Seeing the scene in front of me, even Yi Jian and others were excited. This son is really the patriarch of the Shadow Clan, the patriarch of the Heaven Fate. Not only Pipazu recognizes it as the master, but even Jade Pipa recognizes it as the master. Meet the patriarch, Yi Jian said, then leaned down and knelt down, and the 12 elders behind him also kneeled down and saluted to the new patriarch. Ha ha. Yekong laughed and finally forced them to admit that he is the patriarch of the Shadow Clan, which no one can replace. But Yi Jian also said, since you are already my clan patriarch, we have nothing to say, but from now on, you will be responsible for the survival of our clan. Behind him is a middle-aged scholar-like Shadow Clan man who came up and said, Clan Chief, my clan is now facing a crisis of human destruction. Please see the clan chief. Middle-aged scholar finished pointing at the sky. I saw a huge opening in the sky's red formation, and dozens of starships slowly moved in. The starboat's light flickered. You can see thousands of monks standing on the starship. They are ready to fight, and in the front of each starboat, there are one or more monks wearing white sacred clothing, holding the eyes of the demon in their hands and looking at the people in the Pipa realm. That scene is like an alien invading the earth in a Hollywood movie, apocalyptic. Yekong proudly said, well, holy demon sect? As long as my family is united and there are elders helping each other, it may not be a battle. Yi Jian and others shook their heads, obviously not optimistic. Please see the patriarch, the middle-aged scholar pointed at Bipa Mountain again. I don't know when the tens of thousands of Shadow Clan men and women have gathered at the foot of the mountain, they all knelt down and scratched their heads. Patriarchs, our tribe will be defeated in this battle. Countless wives will lose their husbands, countless children will lose their parents, and the Pipa realm has been calm for so many years. The new patriarch they expect is to bring them happiness instead of war. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Jian Yi. Chapter 816. August 16th. I leave. Joke, Yekong screamed angrily, pointing at the sky. The holy demon sect moved under pressure and threatened the Shadow Clan with force. Haven't you had enough of this kind of day when you were riding on your head? Treat the jackal, it's just a shotgun, not something else. Why is this happening? because you blindly trying to get everything done, our fists have shrunk in our sleeves for a long time. If we shrink back, we will become birds in the crotch. However, as if what he said, the 13 elders didn't seem to hear them. They all turned to the side and looked up at the numerous star boats in the sky. Although Yekong has now truly become the patriarch of the Shadow clan, and has also received the true inheritance of the Shadow Wu, but he is still a man, a false Dan real person. Without these elders' help, it would not be possible. You didn't come to see me. Yekong suddenly understood and laughed, his laughter filled with desolation. That laughter, even the 13 elders who had already set a plan, were moved by it. Yi Jian stepped forward and said, Patriarch, Saint Mozong just wanted to invite you to be a guest, and they made a guarantee that they would never endanger your life. I feel sad for Lu Junro in the Devil's Zone. Yekong interrupted Yi Jian with a soft voice, but this light sentence made the 13 elders feel like a hammer. Okay, I'll go, I'll just go. Yekong waved his sleeves and walked towards the stone steps, stepping down step by step. I will come back one day. Yekong's figure disappeared instantly on the stone steps. As Yekong disappeared, the sound of the pipa also became desolate, and the weeping cherry blossoms fell like a heavy snow, and it was white. Elder Yi, do you want to remove this pipa bead first? You can't keep it ringing. Don't go. There is a powerful attack formation on the jade pipa. No one except the patriarch can take it. Let it ring like this. Hope, one day, the patriarch can really come back and take the pipa beads. Yekong used the token left by Elder Black Demon Ezong. When he drove the jade white token, he was immediately teleported into a stone house. The token was a one-time use. After he used it, it was turned into powder. Yekong didn't bother with the token, he looked at the stone house. This stone house is quite large. It should be said that it is a stone hall. There are 200 steps in the hall, east-west and north-south direction. There are symmetrical stone pillars in it. There is no other thing. This stone hall is closed. There are no doors or windows. It seems that only teleportation comes in, and there is no other way to enter. This is the Mustard Time Tower? Didn't feel the time getting faster, it feels the same as outside. Yekong came to the stone hall, and the indignation and anger in Pipa Mountain had just disappeared. Instead, he was curious and doubtful. Is it really 10 times faster? But don't shake me. If I practice here for more than 10 years, and go out and find out that there have been more than 10 years, then am I not miserable? Yekong muttered. Haha, you practice here, of course. The same time outside suddenly, an old, but arrogant voice came from the ceiling. Is it the elder? The disciple is disciple number 925-27 in the black suit. Can you ask the ancestor to come out and see him? Yekong said quickly. His voice buzzed in the stone hall, but no one came out. The elder was reluctant to meet, and Yekong couldn't say much. Even the elders number 2 and 3 hadn't met the elder, how could he come out to meet his nameless junior? Yekong hurriedly said, if the elders are busy, forget them. In fact, they are not juniors, they really admire the elders for a long time, and look forward to seeing the elder's shocking face. Presumably such elder dragons can never see the end. People must have other identities, and they must be famous heroes in the world who can understand them. I was beaten up by Yekong's horse, but the elder couldn't help but laughed. You re a funny child, but you re wrong, I am not a famous hero. Let me tell you a bit, actually I'm just a housekeeper. Housekeeper? Yekong was shocked. The mysterious elder established the black demon in one hand. Even the Mahayana Zhongfang, Xiling, Kuangpeng and others had to listen to him, but he was just a housekeeper. Nothing is more surprising than this news. To whom does this elder steward? What kind of home is he in charge of? It's hard to think. Yes, I'm just a housekeeper, but I don't want to say more about other people. 9257, I haven't told people so much for many years, you call me Jibo, the elder said again. Boss Yeji Yekong arched his hand politely, and then asked, Jibo, dare to ask that this is the Mustard Time Tower? The elder said, Sumina is contained in mustard. Every mustard has a world. You are right, this is the Mustard Tower. Yekonki said, why did you just say that the time here is the same as outside? The elder laughed, because this is the hall, the cultivation site is not here. After the elder said, just listening to a bang, a deep passage suddenly appeared on the side of the hall. I don't know where to go. The elder rode into the passage. There are 6 practice spaces on each side, a total of 12 practice spaces. You choose one to practice. The time in the space is 10 times faster than the outside, but you will not have it feels like that. Besides, there is no other elixir material provided in the space except Reiki. You are ready? Yekong nodded. Xiejibo reminded me that I was going to get into Dandan. I had prepared Jindanwan and no other items were needed. The elder said, well, I know your Jidan. Don't worry about it. Although your cultivation time is 1 year, I will not drive you out if Jidan is not completed by that time. In fact, it takes decades for people to have a buddy, and there is another time when it is not possible to continue buddying, and it is not a surprise to have a buddy for 60 or 70 years. Take advantage. However, Yekong did not want to take advantage of this. His practice of the 5 Elements Ascension Sutras took much less time to break than other exercises. And he didn't have time to spend in it. If he arrives in 10 years and he hasn't succeeded, he will consider coming out first. Well, I still have something to do. If you're okay, go in and practice. The elder was ready to leave. Wait, Yekong said with a little embarrassment, Jibo, can I trouble you? My concubine Huang Shishi was pulled by the Mozong to do the labor. I want you to bring an elder number 17 then, let him help me find out the situation of the Mozong and the whereabouts of Huang Shishi. To the reader. Haha, there is another chapter, and I have to ask everyone to wait a bit. It was Xiaoman's birthday yesterday, which delayed the time, and I was busy again in the morning, sorry. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 817. August 17th. Mustard Tower. The elder laughed, for thousands of years, you were the first person to send me to work, but I miss your affection for the priests, and I have been going to Mozong in Black several times recently, and I will bring you this. Let's talk. Thank you, Jibo, you are so nice. Oh, and if the elder 17 needs the fee, let him deduct it directly from my deposit. Well, the elder snorted, and there was no more sound. It seemed that he had left. Well, let me practice it. Yekong walked into the aisle. On both sides of the passage, there are several rooms. On the heavy stone door, the words golden wood, water, fire, and earth are written separately. It seems that the aura in each room is different, and which aura is needed to practice. Although metallic auras are relatively rare, but Yekong doesn't need them now, he finally decided to go to the room with the words 5 elements in it. After all, he is the root of the 5 elements, and the balance of the aura around him at the time of Dan is also very good for him. The elder said that there were 12 rooms in the passage. There are 2 rooms each of gold, wood, water, fire, earth, and 5 elements. The rooms of the 5 elements Reiki are the last. However, the channel does not stop there, but continues to extend forward. I do not know where to go. Where's the end of this passage? Yekong was a little curious, didn't enter the 5 elements room, and continued to search forward. After walking for a while, I finally came to the end of the passage. This is also a stone house. There is a spiral stone staircase in the stone house. This is the 2nd floor that leads to a year equal to 100 years. If you can go up to practice for 1 year, it will be great. Yekong looked at the prohibition and found that the prohibition can be opened. On the stone wall at the entrance of the corridor, There are 5 flat square grooves side by side, as if they were inserted into the token. It seems that by inserting 5 special tokens, you can open the stairs to the second floor. Just what is needed here, what token is it? When you look back, you must ask Jibo for a good question. Yekong nodded, walked back, entered the 5 elements aura space, and began his own process of dandan. Rain, chaos and tangles, the entire forest is covered in rain, and a high extinct volcano in the forest is no exception. It's not rainstorm or drizzle, and it should be considered moderate rain from the point of rain. But the raindrops are very dense, the sky is vast, and there is a grey feeling everywhere. Countless raindrops entered from the crater. At this moment, the crater is different from the past, and the past is endless. But now, a layer of green formations has emerged from the mountain pass. The formation is like a waveless green lake with raindrops on it, and a small ripple appears and disappears. A woman in white walks slowly, like a white lotus blooming in the rain. She had been wondering about the wonders in front of her, and Lianbu moved lightly. She came to a prominent platform of the crater, entered a wooden hut, and slowly descended. More than 2 years, what are you doing? It has been 2 years since I returned from Kangbei. Those who are alive have returned, but the person she remembers has not returned. Whenever taking this earth elevator to refine medicine in the belly of the volcano, she would think that one day, when riding with someone, she was shot thinly by him. Her face was slightly red. She couldn't help talking to herself and took a sip. Little thief, I just like to do such shy things. I finished, but couldn't help but curse, hate, you have to return the vow of blood and blood. Otherwise, I can know whether you little thief is dead or alive. After speaking, biting his red lips, airway, hate this guy. Love and hate intersect. After a short while, the hut fell to the ground, walked out in white, and walked towards her exclusive alchemy room. But she didn't go far, but a young man with a beard ran out of a small wooden house behind him, shouting after him, Sister Rulin, go up, come to the ferry, and go to see the ferry. Seeing Ma Xiaoyi's excitement, Lian Rulin thought that she got news from someone, but did not expect it to be such news. She immediately threw her sleeves and said, no interest. Ma Xiaoyi knew that she would be like this, and then caught up and asked, Sister Rulin, what do you say about my beard? Is it a lot more mature? Its ugly zixi is in the eyes of the lover. Ma Xiaoyi sighed. In the eyes of Sister Rulin, I am afraid that only a small white face is not ugly. You be careful, he comes back to punch you. Ma Xiaoyi no longer speaks, although he has not eaten someone's losses, but somebody's notoriety, the plague god, the lunatic, the unscrupulous, the wicked and deceived. 5 poisons are complete, it is terrible. Sister Rulin, isn't it boring for you to bury your alchemy every day like this? Let's go and take a look at it. Today is not an ordinary fairy, but an immortal emperor. I came and it rained. I saw the rain and clouds in the sky, and all went away, they turned out to be afraid of the emperor. Is that? Emperor Xiandi is so powerful. After listening to Ma Xiaoyi, Lian Rulin was also shocked. When the clouds were scattered, the great monks could do the same. But trying to stop the sky from raining, that's not what ordinary monks can do. With a curse, you can scare the rain away, which is no longer a term that can be described by a cow fork. Let's go and see. Many people watch it. Ma Xiaoyi watched Lian Rulin became interested and took her sleeves to walk. Why did the emperor come to our mountain of elixir? Lian Rulin asked again. I heard that he came to find his daughter. His daughter is very naughty, so he came to the nether world to play. Some people outside said that his daughter went to Yunfuzong to make a little girl ring. Lian Rulin was shocked. No, the princess in fairyland makes a girl ring. Ma Xiaoyi sighed, why isn't there a princess to make a girl ring for me? It's a tragedy. If Lian Rulin didn't know, she would cause another great event when she left. To the reader. The last chapter is a bit short. Xiaoman is busy today, sorry. The YY group of this book has been established, number 681,337, welcome everyone to chat. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 818. Wuden. Days passed, blinking for a month. Mustard Time Tower. Yekong slowly opened his eyes and sighed, 10 months later, I finally waited for a breakthrough. 10 times the speed of time. 1 month outside, there have been 10 months in the space. In these 10 months, Yekong did not rush into Dan, but balanced the spiritual cyclone in his body as much as possible. The most important element of the 5 elements ascension is the balance. The balance of the 5 elements is because the 5 kinds of auras have been absorbed before, so the absolute balance cannot be achieved at all. Now in the space of the 5 elements, there are 5 attributes. Yekong can fine-tune the 5 airflows of the Reiki cyclone to absolute balance and complete the equality. The 5 rotating fan blades also reached the same size. After various adjustments and state adjustments, Yekong has reached the best state of Jidan, and even he can feel that the breakthrough of the foundation period is in sight. He took a Jin Jidan, a metallic one. He did not take the Jin Dan of the Blood Dan demon, but the ordinary Jin Dan of the Black demon. As a person from the earth, he still cannot accept the act of eating flesh eating. After serving Dan, he began the first process of Dandan. After meditating for 20 months, when Yekong woke up again, he took the second Jindan. It took him 100 months to collect 5 gold dandelions. It's done, Yehalo burst into joy. The Ki is completely different now. The original spiritual power cyclone has disappeared, and now there are 5 golden candons in the Ki. The 5 gold dandelions are not lined up, but are distributed in a pentagonal orientation. Each one represents a property, 100% single spiritual root. It is not good for others to have a single spiritual root, but he has already equipped with 5 monolingual roots. Someone asked, how can the great spiritual power be compressed into little Jindan? In fact, those who have experienced Dan know that those spiritual powers have been liquefied, forming a spiritual power liquid that exists in Jindan. The spiritual power of liquefaction is 100 times thicker than the spiritual power of the gas state, so the spiritual liquid in the 5 Jindans looks like a quarter. Already a quarter, it's not that Yekong has 3 layers of Dan, the liquid is just a foundation, the starting price, he is now just Dan, and then increase it later, you can improve the realm, wait for 5 Jindan it's full, then Jindan who a baby can be. The 5 Jindans are powerful, but the shortcomings are also obvious, that is, it requires spiritual power and requires 5 times more time than others. The 5 elements ascension of the Immortal Sutra is slow. It seems that we still need to hurry to cultivate in the future. Another thing that happened after making Dan was also to make Yekong feel a bit inadequate, because with the disappearance of the spiritual power cyclone, the centripetal force was completely lost, and the circle of fairy chi surrounding the Ki even disappeared without giving face. However, no matter what, Jindan's completion means that Yekong finally entered the room on the road of repairing immortals. After returning, someone should call himself an ancestor. Try it out and see if the feeling of Jindan period is more arbitrary than the base period. Yekong stretched his arms violently, dispersed the array, and then he flew up. Each of these practice fields is an independent space, extremely vast and sky-high, so it doesn't matter if Yekong flies up. It's a really powerful feeling. Yekong took a mouthful, Fijian blurted out, quickly became large, fell under his feet, and he was just standing. Go, Zi Yuli sword carrying Yekong, like a purple rainbow, shot into the distance instantly. Above the sky, an old man was walking by the one tall ancient tower, looked down, and said to himself, "This child has a very good qualification. Jindan will be completed in less than 10 years, and there will be achievements in the future." It was the elder Jibo who spoke. If he knew that Yekong had been deigned 5 times during this time, he might be surprised. The elder took a look, and quickly walked away, saying in his mouth, "I have 16 years to go, and I have to prepare some more utensils and treasures, otherwise no one will come to look for treasure." "Ah! It's so cool," Yekong yelled, and Fei Jian carried him back to his place. It took 10 months to adjust the state before, and it took 100 months to finish the dandan, which means that I can still stay here for 10 months, but I see a delay. After I go out, I may have to face the battle of renouncement, or hurry up. Time to prepare. Yekong thought about it in his heart. First of all, night dance must be quickly and thoroughly refined, including the instrumental spirits cultivated in the early stage of refining, which greatly increase the power of night dance. The most important thing is that night dance is a magical tool that is held in the hand and is especially suitable for shadow martial arts and sword repair. Secondly, the inheritance of Shadow Wu, he didn't understand it so far. At that time, he took a quick glance and seemed to understand it, but he couldn't grasp it, so he took time to figure it out. Third, the period of dandan, you can cultivate the magical powers inherent in the dandan period. These exercises should be effortless. The fourth is to see what's new in the curse book. You should be able to see the Chinese charm, and you do know how powerful the Chinese charm is. What kind of rune paper do you need? Fifth. Yekong frowned. There were so many things. No wonder people were sitting there for dozens or hundreds of years. A monk did not have enough time. Refining, spell research, matrix formation research, magical power research, elixir research, everyone is a vast discipline like the ocean. Everyone knows that monks are countless times longer than mortals. Who knows these time is still tight for monks. This is why there are many amazing monks who finally indulged in sideline work and did not have enough time to practice basic skills, and finally fell early. Yekong decided to come piece by piece, but when he put the consciousness into the storage ring, he found another thing that made him excited. Zixuan. You, wake up. Yekong held Swimizu with a joyful smile on his face, but his voice was choked. Huang Zixuan finally woke up, which means that all efforts have not been wasted, meaning that things have been more than half successful. Of course, the most important thing is that Huang Zixuan will definitely return to him. Brother Heze, Huang Zixuan in Swimizu bewildered for a moment. After all, Yekong's true appearance, she saw her for the first time. I told you last time that Li Heze is a pseudonym. I am Yekong. I don't care, you will always be my sunspot. With such a familiar voice and such a familiar tone, Yekong only felt that his eyes were a bit fuzzy, and something on his cheek rolled off. Hey brother, have I been in a coma for a long time? Where exactly is this? And why do you pack me in this crystal ball? Don't worry, I'll tell you slowly. Yekong burst into tears and laughed. The vast sky is like a blue jewel. A plain with a green rug is spread on the plains where no border is visible. A young boy in Xianxia sits on the floor, holding a crystal ball to begin. Hey Yekong, you still have a lot to do. 1 2 3 4 5. Get out, big things are not as important as my cucumber sister. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 819. 819 Not Dan Exit. A black star boat slowly sailed into the Peeper realm. The bottom of the star boat, which was as dark as a pot, had a huge red letter Yi at the bottom, which showed that the star boat's identity was the largest family of the Yi family. Starboat. There is no such thing as a small boat in a general small business. The main reason is not that the starboat is complicated and expensive to build. The key is that the starboat has too large a goal and sails in the sky. Those gods rob targets, so the most important thing to have a starship to sail is strength. Of course, because of the starboat, the firm can go to some very distant places. These places are located on the edge of Yunyeo, and they will produce a lot of rare treasures. Sky-high price. In addition, if there is a starboat, you can find some unique treasures in Kangming, and you can even hunt some weak Kangming beasts and materials on Kangming beasts, which are of great value. Seeing this starship sailing into the Peepa realm, people from other companies couldn't help sighing. The Yi family didn't know where to go to make a lot of money back. Boom, Xianxia landed in a mountainous area outside Shadow Snow City. This is the place where the Yi family used to land Xianxia. When Xianxia stopped, there would naturally be countless vehicles in the past to receive and dispatch the goods, and as soon as the side door of Xianxia opened, a charming figure in white clothes came out. "Sister, you are finally back." Nothing happened on the road. Yi Shuiyan, who had been waiting for a long time, quickly greeted him. "It's been another 5 years, and Yi Menying took a deep breath. Although she spent more time in Kangnan than in Peepa, she still felt more at home when she came to her place. "Nothing, just when I came back, I found a lot of Saint Demon Star boats. They wanted to check it and I was thrown away. However, when we leave Peepa realm next time, we may have some trouble," Yi Menying replied, but then she froze and listened. "The jade Peepa is ringing again." Yi Menying stared in surprise. "It's been ringing for a whole year," Yi Shuiyan answered with a bitter smile. No, Yi Menying's eyes widened even more. The jade Peepa hadn't sounded for many years, just once more than 10 years ago. "I heard that the film owner, but Yi Menying didn't see him. I have never heard the jade Peepa's music before. And now, this jade Peepa rings for a whole year, which is incredible. When was the jade Peepa's music so worthless? What the is going on? Is there a major event?" Yi Menying thought of the holy demon sect who was wandering outside the Peepa, and had some bad feelings in his heart. "Let's go and talk as you walk. Speaking of the protagonist of this matter, you still know." Yi Shuiyan pulled Yi Menying into a car. Inside the mustard tower, Yekong took out Swimizu and Huang Zixuan was standing inside quietly. "Brother Yekong, how are you doing? After 10 months, Huang Zixuan has completely changed his name, and Brother Hazi has finally become Brother Yekong. It's not bad. I completely refined the night dance. In addition, the Chinese character spell came out, but it turned out to be Fu Bao's production method. Waiting to see what the Chinese character charm will surprise me." The other is Howling Wolf King seems to have entered a breakthrough period, but there is no soul in the soul. Yekong said with regret, "And killed many monks in Yunyeo, but none of them confiscated the soul, otherwise the powerful souls, enough Howling Wind Wolf King level up again. Then you said last time that you wanted to resculpt the sword repair and the spiritual power, oh, and Shadow Wu." Yekong shook his head. "Too much cultivation, time is really not enough. Although the elder said that I can be able to bear Dan without time limit, but I have already Dan, and I have no reason to drag it on. Although I continue to practice for a while, the elder does not necessarily drive me away, but, the things that Yekong and I have agreed to will not change." Huang Zixuan nodded. "Brother Hizi, oh no, Brother Yekong, I support you. Today is the last day of 10 years. Yekong looked around again, looked at the space, and said, "It's time to leave." Outside the Mustard Time Tower, an old man nodded with a smile. In fact, Ye was not honest. When he came to the Black Demon, the first thing to do was to open the teleportation target panel. "Give me a record of the place where I teleported in," Yekong commanded. "Sorry, noble disciple 9257, this coordinate cannot be recorded." Yun Qian's voice rang relentlessly. "Oh, that's fine." Yekong had been mentally prepared. If it could be recorded, those guys in Kuangpeng had already done it early. Such a low-level elder would not turn a blind eye. "Then show me any news," Yekong asked again. News number 1 Disciple sent a message from number 7726. The fruit can be cheap, but 10 must be sold together. If you are interested, you can talk. This first news made Yekong overjoyed. I didn't expect that there were as many as 10 of the other party. Return to the news immediately. I have time recently and have the opportunity to meet and talk. Yes, Xianxia responded and said, Message 2, the message of Elder 17, there are many messages, as shown below. The elders on the 17th really bothered. Yekong had been inquired about the news of the demon. What was the origin of the demon, the current master of the demon, and the current task of the demon? Pawn record. There is a lot of news, but Yekong doesn't use much. First of all, there is no news about Huang Shishi. Then, in which direction the Mozong's newly opened environment is, I don't know. Finally, as one of Yunyeo's most mysterious demon sects, the demon sect does not have a headquarters, at least where it is unknown. Speaking for a long time is like saying nothing. Yekong snorted moaningly, and then asked, how many spirit stones did Elder 7th ask me for? Lingxi 942,300. Yekong smiled bitterly. It's true that the demon in this market is dark. Don't let them inquire about it in the future. There are still 3,000 odd numbers. I don't know how they figured it out. Is there any news? Yekong asked again. Yes, this is the message that Elder number 4 just sent. Please go to the elders meeting. Elder Kuangpeng is out. Yekong's face showed a happy look. Although all the elders in black seem to be very good to him, all of these guys can turn their faces for benefits at any time. To be honest, the only caring person is Elder number 4 Kuangpeng. See you now, teleport me right away. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 820. 8200 Old Tree Blossom. Devil in Black, the Presbyterian Church, a familiar round room, surrounded by a hidden high-backed chair in the dark, a beam of white light in the middle. I feel a little dark and grim, but I've been here a lot, and Yekong hasn't felt this way anymore, but I have some expectations. When can I get a chair to sit? Kuangpeng wore a hood today. He is a very special one. The other elders in Yunyeo all have names and surnames, and a large number of descendants, so they hide their heads and hide their faces. Kuangpeng is different. He has no apprentices and no loved ones. He is always monotonous. He, want to get revenge on me? No way, I'm a bachelor. So a person really becomes a bachelor, then he acts and talks, and immediately bachelor gets up. But this 10,000-year-old bachelor has also been springing with heart, the old tree is blooming, and dead branches have sprouted. 9527, it's alright, yes, when do you go back to Kangbei? Kuangpeng couldn't wait to ask before congratulating. You wear a hood, isn't it hurt? People care about themselves, and Yekong also sends a concern first. However, it seems that the other party does not appreciate. Kuangpeng was unhappy. Don't worry about my injury, I'll ask you something. Yekong laughed and said, how do you remember asking me this topic? Do you think I want to go back there now? Kuangpeng laughed, why not? You have completely offended the holy demon sect now, do you think Yunyeo can still mix? I guess you are ready to go back there. Not to mention, after living for more than 100,000 years, it is different. A bird can be so smart. I have this plan, but I haven't left all the characters. Yekong didn't want to say the Yi family name easily. If these old guys ran to Kangnan, I'm afraid Kangnan would be messy. In fact, Chaos is not related to Yekong, but after all, he came from Kangnan, and he did not want to watch so many tragedies. Then you remember, you have to take me back when you want to go back, and you have to know that I came out before the injury, to help you get things done. At this time, I won't help you. Who will help you? Righteous words. Ye Kong laughed, I want to see your Zikio sister. Although Kuangpeng has lived for so many years, he has never experienced such a thing as falling in love. Ye Kongji said that he was a little bit embarrassed. What are you talking about? As a donkey liver and lungs, I just want to help you. Even if I see her, that's how I would like to meet my old friend who lived thousands of years ago. Ye Kong despised, come on, old friend, old lover. Kuangpeng said angrily, nonsense. We are all so old, but not you're young. Ye Kong laughed, what are you afraid of when you are old? Have you heard a word? The old house caught fire and burned more vigorously. There is also a song that says how many years a love story should be buried and how many days are late for a letter. Kuangpeng was about to vomit blood, and finally roared, and put the bachelor posture, I just want to see her. I must go. You don't want to sneak away. Even if you go, then come to me in black to give me some attention. Kuangpeng was anxious, Ye Kong no longer teased him, and said, you can go back with me. You can't tell the others the method over there without my consent, and after that, everything must be listened to me. Kuangpeng nodded, 9527, you don't have to worry too much, in fact, those are not the problems, let me tell you the truth, I already feel that my is coming soon. Ah, Ye Kong didn't think of it, Kuangpeng was about to cross the gang and take off. You're not saying that you don't practice and try to stay in the lower bounds to do something. Why are you preparing to cross the robbery and take off? Ye Kong asked. It's not Qing Lai Wei's muddy ball, Kuangpeng yelled, he's such a selfish little man, he has sword and her people. After listening to Kuangpeng's scolding, it turned out that when he heard the news of Qing Lai Wei's ascension, his Taoism was also agitated. Although he has been restraining the impulse to soar, soaring is so attractive to every monk. With Qing Lai Wei's example, he can't help but want to soar. His thoughts naturally induced the world to react, and the robbery was fast. Kuangpeng sighed after saying, I'm not in a hurry to urge you to take me to see her, but, if I don't see you, I'll never see you again. Ye Kong Zhong raised a pride and patted his chest, Elder Mad Peng, rest assured, I will take you back to see her as soon as possible. Kuangpeng nodded and said, thank you, 9257, thank you, but I do think it will be so smooth when I go back, and it is easy to get help with my help. Although my injury is not good, but it's not difficult to deal with some rats. Ye Kong was overjoyed, okay, is there anything to worry about when there is a knight, a Mahayana-esque great hitman? Ye Kong thought about it and said, we also have the Shadow Clan firm in Black Demon section. What is the situation of those Shadow Clan people who are trading? Kuangpeng laughed, you do need to make an idea. Our Shadow Clan company in black is actually a joint venture between some of our elders. We use the relationship with the Yi family company to get the goods in advance and then bring them to the black. Yi Mo Zone is sold under the name of the Shadow Clan name. It is not the true Shadow Clan. Ye Kong suddenly said, no, you guys, you are too shameless. I despise you elders. Kuangpeng laughed. The elixir of practice needs spirit stone, and the magical material needs spirit stone. Even the elders have changed the law to ask for spirit stone with us. But you can rest assured that if the old Pengmi soars, I will recommend that I transfer my shares to you. Someone suddenly laughed. That's so embarrassing. You don't despise us anymore. I despise myself. They talked for a while, and Ye Kong decided to return to Peeper Realm first to see the situation, and take Pai Pizu back by the way. Ye Kong uses the teleport service. There is a teleportation coordinate point in the Pipazu space, and Ye Kong teleports immediately. But when he teleported, he suddenly remembered something. At first, he promised Zhu Lingfei, and he also took Pipazu to the Mustard Time Tower, so that they could also enjoy the opportunity to practice for 10 years. However, at the time, Yi Jian and others made a noise, but completely forgot. Ye Kong was a little embarrassed to face Zhu Lingfei, so he flashed in Peepazoo and slipped out. Zhu Lingfei, who was meditating indoors, opened his eyes and said puzzledly, I clearly felt that someone had formed a dandelion and moved the vision of heaven and earth. Why did it disappear at the beginning? At this moment, a woman in white is looking at the jade pipa on the tall pipa mountain in the city, and murmurs in her mouth, is it really the Yekong? Impossible, how can he start from the foundation period come over there? Or the same name. While she was looking at the jade pipa, she saw a sudden dark cloud on the jade pipa, the sky suddenly changed, and a golden spring in the black cloud shot down. The scene was spectacular. Someone has a buddy? On a Baiwa mountain? Who is it? Yi Menying couldn't help wondering. To the reader. Thank you all for your blessing. Xiaoman was very moved. Q is not one by one. This is the happiest birthday of the ancestors for thousands of years. Thanks. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 821. Jindan Anomaly. The monk builds the foundation, builds the dan, transforms the infant, transforms the. Every breakthrough of a realm will lead to changes in the surrounding aura and produce a vision. This is both a declaration and a congratulation. Ye Kong was always suppressed in the Mustard Time Tower and the Black Demon sect, but the time in the Pipa beads was too short, and the vision did not have time to appear. So as soon as he released the Pipa beads, the vision appeared in the most sacred part of the Pipa realm. It's done, and someone has done it. Some people looking to the sky are envious, others are scornful, and more are doubts. Since the Jade Pipa started to play a year ago, the Pipa Mountain was ordered by the Shadow Clan elders to ban anyone from passing. How could anyone get a dan on it? In the place where the Yi family was closed, Yi Jian opened his murky eyes and frowned, it's really him. The boy disappeared for a year, but he has already become a dan. Outside, Yuman Yingmei's eyes flickered, and he muttered in his heart, is it really him? I wanted to see him outside Baichai village of Kangnan Barbara. He was the ancestor of Dandan. He was the minor repairer in the middle of gas refining. But now, he is still repairing the Buddhist period, and he has also been budding, which is really incredible. However, Yumenying thinks about it and thinks it is not. Even if Ye Kong is going to endure Dan, but he disappeared for only 1 year, and Jin Dan became a success in 1 year? This is too ridiculous, I have never heard of Ji Dan so fast. It must be someone else, not the kid. Yi Menying thought so, and saw his old lady Yi Ziu and Yi Shuiyan come over. Who is so bold, dare to bear Dan on the holy mountain of my shadow clan? Yi Ziu frowned. Yi Shuiyan laughed, Bachan is the disappearing fake Dan Ye Kong. At that time, he was 1 step away from Dandan, and now Dandan is normal. Yi Menying said, it's impossible. That kid is just the root of the 5 elements. At the beginning, I saw whether he could build a foundation and it was a problem. How could it be a Jindan? Yi Shuiyan said, sister, have you stayed with those monks for a long time? Yunyeo's monks have a lot of magic skills, and some bizarre magic skills can be used without spiritual roots, let alone the 5 elements. Yuman sighed, but the key is that he is a monk. Yi Shuiyan shook his head. How is it possible that there is no one in Yunyeo who practices monasticism? Yuman Ying wanted to say that he was from Kangnan, but didn't think about it. Before things are not confirmed, it would be unhelpful to say more. What if the names are the same? However, Yi Ziu laughed, it seems that Man Ying really knows the boy. He even knows what the spiritual roots are, and the relationship is extraordinary. Mother, what are you talking about? Yi Menying's face flushed, and the always savvy Master Yi Jia showed his little daughter's family look. She yelled, I still don't know what you said about Ye Kong, and I know Ye is empty alone, the one I know is a little rogue. Just as they were talking, they saw the vision in the sky spread out. This vision came faster and faster, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. But the dark clouds just disappeared, and in a blink of an eye, they actually gathered a large cloud. Someone else has a buddy. Everyone in Shadow Snow City fainted. Someone on the Peepa Mountain had such a coincidence. Some people have speculated, it must be a couple of people who have two cultivations, have a good spirit, break through together, and have a buddy together. This is also possible. But the second time the black clouds dispersed, and the third time came again, the wise man who guessed had nothing to say. Two people were married, but now they are three. Could the husband and wife both bring their sister-in-law? Everyone in the Yi family was stunned. When did Peepa Mountain become a treasure land? Everyone organized a trip to Peepa Mountain to have Dan? In the fourth round, the people in Shadow Snow City have been surprised. Everyone should do what they want. The Jade Peepa can play for a year without stopping, and this phenomenon of Jiaodan may also play for a year and a half. In short, there are strange things every year. This year is particularly many. Everyone in the Yi family didn't know what to say. Yizio smiled bitterly. Maybe it's not the monk's dandan, but maybe other unknown wonders. Yi Shuiyan also said, I'm afraid so. Even if a few monks make an appointment, they won't grasp it so well in time. You just sang me on stage and there was no such thing. Yumening thought that someone had provoked himself and said to himself, within 10 years, you will be my lover. She said very dissatisfied, I knew it wasn't that kid, how could he be a Dan, but you thought he was him. But who knew she had just finished the sentence, and a dark cloud gathered in the sky for the fifth time. This vision was different from the previous four. The dark clouds gathered, and they finally collapsed into a human face. Shadow Snow City, whose tailor shop? The girl Hu Yunting looked up at the fleeting face in the sky, and said, oh my god, that's Yekong Sr. Hu Yazhong sighed, I knew Yekong was not that simple at first, otherwise how could Huang Zongji marry a Zuji real person? Hu Yunting clenched his hand and said, father and mother, rest assured, my daughter must work hard to cultivate, someday, I will also have Dan. And at the Yi family. Yi Menying opened up a pair of small red lips because she also saw that face, which was a rogue face. Yi Shuiyan was so proud this time, sister, I said Yedayu. I didn't expect him to have Dan on the Peepa Mountain, and I don't know who was with him. After a short period of surprise, Yi Zio laughed, Man Ying, brother Ye, who you know is really extraordinary. The results of dandan are different from ordinary people. Well, I think this guy is good. Yi Menying was annoyed, mother, what are you talking about? I have nothing to do with him. He is savvy and stubborn. He is so stubborn. He keeps talking dirty words and his temper is arrogant. It's just a negative textbook. 5 times the vision of Dan, in fact, said faster and faster, when Yekong's face disappeared, the clouds dispersed, the sky returned to peace, and Yekong posted a hidden charm and slipped down the mountain. He was not in a hurry to take back Peepa Zoo because Peepa Zoo was on his body, and those old Shadow Clan members could sense him. So he simply did not take the Peepa beads, first went down the mountain to find out the news. Anyway, no one can the Peepa beads. Yujia Firm, Shadow Snow City, Wholesale Department. Xue Lishuang and Xue Bingning are busy. Since the caravan returned last year, the Yi family has temporarily stopped delivery to stores across the border, especially those who are deaf in attacking the shadow caravan. Therefore, the frost in the snow and the ice in the snow were all idle, and they were finally arranged here. Yumenying returned, bringing a large amount of goods, and all the vendors who heard the news rushed to buy the earliest batch and get it back for a large price. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 822. Ask about the situation. While Swibingning was busy maintaining order, she said to the store's Shuelishuang, brother, did you just see that? the face in the sky is Brother Yekong. Shui's Huang was also very puzzled and said, I saw it too. I said that I hadn't seen him for a year. He turned out to be there. The new owner of the Shadow Clan has been born, but did not announce the name of Yekong, only to say that the new patriarch felt the purest Yingwu and went to retreat, so the ordinary people of the Shadow Clan did not know Yekong. Yekong was also annoyed by the human face appearing in the sky, so he had to buy a bucket with a black gauze on the side of the road. Many people carry this kind of fighting, but most of them are women. Although Yekong's carrying is a bit abrupt, there is no way. Yekong looked at the sign of the city's Mozong from afar, but he didn't go. The guy was charging too much money, and asking about the Yi family's business, they didn't necessarily know about it. He walked into a tea house opposite the Yi family, and of course it was the best tea house. Sometimes he didn't have to ask, just listen to those people chatting. Dude, get a cup of spirit tea. Yekong casually took a seat near the window and sat down. Come here. A Xingyi buddy sent Ling Cha and asked, what more could the guest officer say? Yekong's eyes must be certain, and the consciousness was immediately released. The people around him seemed to retreat a few miles away, leaving only their conversation. Yehalo said, this dedication is really amazing. A brief analysis shows that most of the talks in the tea house are the 5 Jindan anomalies that have just occurred one after another. The rest are also guessing the new Shadow Clan chief. Seems useless. Yekong withdrew his consciousness, and threw a piece of good quality spirit to his fellow, and said with one finger to the Yi family firm, please go and say something to the girl who is maintaining order, and say that the old man wants to see her. The guy looked at Yekong and said in his heart that he wanted to know the shadow girl of the family. If the old people met, they were afraid they would not see you. What if she refuses to come? The man asked. Yekong saw his scornful expression and hummed coldly, just surnamed yet. Yes, the buddy felt his cultivation during the period of Dandan, and did not dare to say more, and hurried over. Shui Bingning was busy. He heard that the buddy said that he would meet each other. He didn't want to go, but he heard the buddy said that his name was Yet. Could it be Brother Yekong? Shui Bingning thought to himself, quickly handed things over to others, followed the buddies to the tea house opposite. Brother Yet. Although Yekong was carrying a bucket, an acquaintance could still be seen from his figure. Well, let's go upstairs. Yekong was also very happy watching Shui Bingning, and immediately asked his buddies to open an elegant room upstairs. Guys can't help but be sorrowful, the Shadow Clan girls just let go, and they will enter the elegant room to meet each other as soon as they meet. Hey, when can I have Dan? It would be nice to hook up with a shadow girl. Upstairs elegant room. Yekong took off the bucket. Shui Bingning could not wait to ask the West. Yekong laughed, I'm not in a position to say anything now, but I have a few things to ask you. After Xianxia, Yekong Kong walked out of the elegant room with satisfaction, and he got a good news and a bad news. In fact, these two news are just one news. The news is that Yu Manying just returned not long after. This is good news, Yu Manying is finally back. However, it is not good news. Yu Manying has just returned. According to past practice, she must stay here for at least 3 months to half a year, and wait until the goods shipped to Kangnan are available before she leaves. Yekong certainly wanted to hurry back to Kangnan. The sooner the better. Kuangpeng also held the same idea. If Yu Manying had a rest for half a year, it would be too long. I'll come again in a few days. Yekong and Shui Bing greeted each other, slammed the black gauze, and walked into the crowd. At Yi Jian's retreat, Yu Manying secretly looked at the backstage of this Yi family. The elders of the Ying clan have seen this person for the first time since she was born. As soon as this person met, he didn't tell the story at all, he directly asked Yekong's situation, and Yu Manying didn't dare to conceal it. After listening, Yi Jian nodded, it was no wonder that it was a monk from Kangnan. It seems that this is his real purpose. Yimenying is a bit strange. Although this Yekong's experience is a bit bizarre, the five elements roots have become the monarch of the mixed Yuan sect, and now it is still Dan, but shouldn't it have been taken seriously by elder Yijian? But the fact is in front of me. If I didn't know Yekong myself, I would have no chance to see this old ancestor. Yijian thought for a moment and said, let us prepare as soon as possible, and then return to Kangnan. Well, let the news go. If Yekong comes to you, take him away. Going to Kangnan again, Yimenying was a little surprised. I just came back. Although I have been in Kangnan for many years, this is my home after all, I always have a rest. Yijian knew her psychology and laughed, Man Ying, you have worked hard, but this time the matter is urgent, you still have to work hard, and it is urgent. But Yimenying wanted to say something. What was available was Yijian's stare. Yizia quickly learned, Man Ying, a bit of rules. What the ancestors said, you can do it? Yes. Yimenying only nodded in patience and swallowed. Well, you go, remember, this matter is related to the life and death of my shadow clan. If it fails, you will never return to the Peeper realm, Yijian said relentlessly, letting the mother and daughter of Yimenying leave. When Yizia and Yimenying left, Yijian sighed, Matriarch, all we can do is this. If you can't escape, that's God's providence. Out of the retreat, Yimenying's resentment rushed up and asked, Mother, what's the matter? Just let me go. What's the matter? I don't feel any crisis. Yizia knew a little, and coldly hummed, will the old ancestors lie to you? Whatever he asks you to do, just do it. Yimenying was aggrieved at Yijian, but he didn't expect his mother to say so again. She blinked and asked, is it yeah yet? Yizia nodded, probably yes, I'm not quite sure, anyway, the old ancestors value him very much. This rogue, I really don't see anything special about him, Yimenying snorted with anger, boy, it's better not to let me touch you. Although Yimenying was energetic, but Yijian's order, she did not dare not execute. Within a few days, all kinds of goods were urgently transported into Xinzhou, and the news that Yimenying was going out again was distributed.